Hey there, Erin. This is Megan McCracken, and in this video, I have some tips and tricks for you of how you can improve your online presence and get more customers and more reach within your area for your company. And you might be asking yourself, why do I make these videos? And really the simple answer is that I like to put something out that's good for business owners, even if they end up not using my services. I want to make it worth your time. So, having said that, people often do end up coming back to me and saying, Megan, I really like this. I like you, and I don't have any clue how to implement this. So please just do it for me. So if that ends up being you, we can hop on a call together and kind of talk about your business goals to see if it makes sense. But otherwise, I hope that you can use these tips and tricks and that they can benefit you and your business. So I'll be talking about a few things today, mostly in regards to your website and just simple things that you can do to rank better on Google. So first we have content, and then we'll talk about backlinks, and then lastly we'll talk about citations. So the first is content. Now, as a rule of thumb, Google likes to see about 1,500 words on the homepage. So I'm going to be looking at one of your competitors in the area. This is for Reno specifically. I recognize that you service Sparks and even as far out as Minden. And I'm not sure how far out exactly you go, but um, we're going to be looking at Joe's Roofing in Reno. And if we look, this is your website, they have just over the 1,500 words on just their homepage, and then you have just under 1,000. So you're doing pretty well. But there obviously is room for improvement. And then Google also, as a rule of thumb, likes to see about 500 words per sub page too. Now, obviously, we also have um, quality of the keywords that we want to be servicing. So I actually am just seeing now the service areas that you're trying to get to. So I did notice for Minden, you're actually doing pretty well for keywords. You are in the top 10. So this is a website called Ahrefs. You can also use like SEMrush, SEMrush, and SpyFu as examples of websites that you can use to see how you match up against competitors. Ahrefs, in my opinion, is the best. But if you click on keywords for yourself, you can see what position you're in and how well you're ranking for different keywords. So again, for Minden, you're in the top 10 for the most part. You're not doing too bad. And then same with like Glencoe. But for the bigger areas like Reno, for example, you're not even in the top 10. You're in the top 20 or maybe top 30, just depending on where we're at. Like Sparks Roofing, you're in the top 20. Um, Roofing Reno in the top 20. And so you have anywhere between like 20 and 100 searches per day of people searching for these keywords. And if any are going to your website, it's only a few. And so you're missing out on all of this traffic to your website from these keywords by not having the content that matches up. Now, alternatively, we have Joe's keywords, who in some places they're like number two, I believe is what I saw. So like roof repair Reno is just an example. Roofing contractor Reno, roofers Reno, Nevada. So they're in the top 10 for everything for Reno, which is really where, you're going to tap into your market, especially because a lot of times people in surrounding areas are going to be searching in like the main hub. For example, I live in Utah and I live in Clearfield, which is a half hour north of Salt Lake. But oftentimes if I'm searching for services, I'm searching Salt Lake City just because I know that will give me the surrounding areas as well. So honestly, ranking for Reno would be huge for you too. But then there's even things like, well, what else did I see? Like repair solar panel, for example, really low keyword difficulty, meaning it's not hard to rank for, it just needs to be there. So we could get you ranked for that for sure. So that's the first thing, is content. The second thing that we're going to talk about are backlinks. So you can also look at backlinks on the overview. And backlinks are, how I describe them is basically a high school popularity contest. So it's like uh, the jock or the cheerleader telling everyone else in the school, hey, you should listen to this guy. He's pretty cool. So Google likes to see other websites pointing back to your website saying, hey, you should look at these guys. They're pretty cool. Or they know what they're doing with roofing, right? And not all backlinks are created equal. Google's going to care more about seeing a website or a blog about roofing or about home care or home maintenance pointing back to you than they're going to care like a fashion website. So you do want to have a good amount of backlinks, but you also want to make sure that all of those backlinks are quality. So the referring domains just means obviously the websites that are linking back to you, and Google only cares about do follow links. So anything without a zero. So you only have 4 referring domains with backlinks to you. Um, Joe's Roofing actually didn't have so many that it would be overwhelming for do follow because they only had about a dozen. And so, as a rule of thumb, you typically like to double what your competitor's doing. And so, you would want to go in and look at all of the links that they have backlinks for and submit them for those too, but then find those of your own. And there's websites like Linkjuice or Majestic that you can use that are really great softwares for doing that. So backlinks is also a huge thing that would get you to the top of those Google searches. And then the last thing are, like I mentioned, um, citations. So citations is referring to Google Maps listings. So when people are searching, and I just did this as an example, a roofing company Reno, when people are searching for that, in addition to these websites below the ads, and I see that you have ads running too, which is awesome. Um, in addition to those, though, um, people are also going to be especially looking at these businesses, especially if people have ad blockers, they're going to be seeing these top three. And most people aren't clicking on more businesses, they're just clicking on one of these top three. So the way that you get into one of these top three slots on Google is through local citations. So there's a website called Whitespark that you can use where you can put in all of your information and your company's information and keywords and everything, and then it'll match up against your competitors to see how you're doing. So you have 14% of your competitors' citations, and these are all of the opportunities, so all of the websites where you're not cited yet. So then you can start to go into each of these websites, excuse me, and add all of your company's information. And these websites are ranked differently too, just like backlinks. So it'll tell you how much it's worth essentially to Google from 0 to 100. And then the more of citations of these that you have, the more likely Google's going to slowly bump you up into this top third slot. So, excuse me, just like I said, um, with the fact that some people have ad blockers, or sometimes, with Google ads, they can be finicky and ads just might not show up. Ads are still definitely useful, and I run ads for people, so I'm not trying to crap on them. But a long term solution that can really help if you ever want to save money from not having to pay Google for ads is instead you can just get yourself ranked there, and you can just either yourself or you can pay someone to help you out with getting ranked into one of these top spots. So those are my three big tips are content, citations, or not citations, content, backlinks, and citations. And if you can do one or any of these three things, then that's going to be huge for you and for your business. So if you want to chat more, I'm happy to do that. We can hop on a discovery call. My phone number is 385-315-7439. Thanks so much, Erin. Have a good one.